The WEG CFW300 family of variable frequency drives from AutomationDirect has 4 single-phase 120-volt input models from 1/4 to 1.5 horsepower, 5 single-phase 240-volt input models from 1/4 to 2 horsepower, 6 3-phase 240-volt input models from 1/4 to 5 horsepower, and 1 240-volt drive that does either single-phase or 3-phase at 3 horsepower. The base drives are budget-friendly, high-performance VFDs that are easy to set up and use and are ideal for centrifugal pumps, fans, blowers, blenders, mixers, centrifuges, compressors, conveyors, rollover tables, granulators, commercial dryers, rotary filters, etc. Because they come in 2 compact frame sizes and can be mounted with 0 clearance between the drives. And they can be mounted on either DIN rail or a flat surface using these convenient mounting tabs. And I really love that the power lines enter one side and exit the other just like a contactor. The drives can be operated in either vector or scalar modes and even have a built-in soft PLC, dynamic braking, multi-speed capability, PID, and fire mode functions. The internal circuit boards are even conformally coated to ensure greater protection for environments with corrosive chemicals. These are all the kinds of features you would expect in a high-performance drive. The front panel LCD is a model of efficiency. Everything you need at a glance with minimal clutter. You can display 2 different parameters numerically or via bar graph. Just press P to get to the parameters, select the parameter, enter a value. Intuitive and minimal keystrokes. You can also use the free WEG programming software to configure the drive, monitor the drive, and program the soft PLC. And it can even be used to manage multiple drives or multiple systems. You can download that free software right now from AutomationDirect.com. The basic drives don't come with any communication capability to keep the cost down, but there are a number of communications modules that are inexpensive and easy to add on by plugging into the slot under this cover. The USB module is just for configuring and monitoring the drive. The RS-232 and 45 modules can also be used for networking, and the 45 module has an extra port on it that you can connect an optional remote HMI to, which is ideal for panel mounting. And since the remote HMI is just hanging off the 45 network, it also gives you access terminals to the RS-45 pins and termination resistors that can be turned on and off. The lower slot is for adding more I/O via the optional I/O modules. So without an option module installed, the drive has 4 digital inputs, an analog current input or an analog voltage input. You can only use one or the other, so it's still just one analog input, a digital relay output, and a 10-volt reference to use with the potentiometer on the analog input. This optional I/O module adds an analog input, an analog output, 3 relay outputs, and a 10-volt reference for the analog inputs. This one adds 4 digital inputs and 3 relay outputs. This one adds an analog input, 2 analog outputs, an input for incremental encoders, a 5-volt reference for use with the encoder, and a 10-volt reference for use with the analog input. This one adds a thermocouple input, 3 relay outputs, and 1 input for an infrared sensor. Now keep in mind there's only 1 slot for I/O modules, so your total I/O is this base drive I/O plus any one of these modules. The optional flash memory module makes it easy to quickly transfer parameters to the drives. You just connect it to the dedicated port on top of the drive via the provided cable and transfer the parameters. One word of caution, this flash memory module connector looks like a mini USB connector. It isn't. And plugging a USB device into this connector can damage your USB device and the drive. So please don't plug any USB devices into this connector. The optional RFI emissions filters simply plug right into the single-phase drives to help keep the noise generated by those drives from getting back out into your system. And there are even replaceable fans which just snap right into place. The CFW300 drives have a 65,000 amp SCCR rating when used in combination with a Class J fuse or a WEG MPW40 motor protector. Of course, you can get those Class J fuses at AutomationDirect.com. This is a sweet little affordable drive that's UL listed in the US and Canada, is very capable, and has enough expansion accessories to adapt as your needs grow. Now we just touched on the feature set in this video, so click here to learn more about the CFW300 family of drives. Click here to learn about Automation Direct's free award-winning support options, and click here to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you'll be notified when we publish new videos.